Well, hello there, and welcome to website Throwdown. I did think I was going to have some different screens up here, so the ladies are like, wait a minute, this is not what you said was going to happen. So let's pretend that didn't happen, and there we go. It's just me. Sorry.
Okay.
I got so excited talking to our my co-host and our guest today that I completely wasn't producing the show. So sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'm Joshua Harrell. Welcome to Website Throwdown. This is our almost weekly. We're here most weeks to do a live website throwdown where we take a member of World Via Travel Network who has said, please, I want you to do a throwdown on my website. So we come live, they join us, and we spend time going through their website, giving them feedback, and just really discussing what's going on with their website. Now, the great thing about it is they're letting you join and watch. So you don't even have to show your website to get some fantastic tips and see really cool things that they're doing on their site. So this is a powerful session for you, and so glad that you're here. And we are live across multiple platforms. Wherever you are, give us a like, give us a love, give us a heart, say hello, tell us where you're watching from. I will be going to the comments throughout the show. So if you have a question or if you see some good travel marketeering, that is marketing your travel products and services through systems. If you see great travel marketeering throughout this session, just put a little TM in the comments because we love that here. So love to hear you join in. And before I introduce our today's guest, I want to bring in my co-host. It is Drea. Drea, how are you?
Hi, we're doing this a little bit differently today.
You know what?
I miss
Just when
I
you
miss
think
being
we've got
side
a
by side with
groove.
the gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have the gloves because it didn't feel right. But I was in here last week because I was in Vegas for a work trip. So I really, really missed it, but I'm really excited to be back.
Well, glad to have you back, and yeah. So, guys, bear with us. We this week we've been doing a lot of changes with our programs, and we love the fact that we can go live on all these platforms. But my goodness, I was a little disorganized. So, Drea and Valerie, our guests today, had to bear with me doing some technological things behind the scenes. But anyway, Drea, so glad that you're here. And before I introduce our guest, we have Serenity Suitcase Luxury Travel said, hello, it's Tiffany from New Hampshire. So glad to see you, Tiffany. This is going to be a fun time. Don't be shy, ask questions. And again, those TMs are free. Give them as much as you can. All right, awesome, Tiffany. Thank you for joining us. And now, without further ado, I want to bring on our guest today. It is Valerie. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
I'm well, Joshua. How are you?
I am living the dream. This is what we do on a Friday. We do a website throwdown. You are
Yes,
joining us from Houston, right?
that is correct. In the lovely land of Houston, it's a very beautiful day outside. So glad to be here. Really excited to get this going and get some insights on my website for sure.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So Valerie said that as soon as we're done here, she is going outside. So
Yes.
I don't blame her. That is we're going to do some good work so you can feel really good about being outside.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Let's see if I can get all three of us back together again. There we are. Look at us. It's just like Anderson Cooper and the a CNN talk show. You're not seeing all three of us, Valerie? Well,
No.
all three of you are here, or all
Okay.
three of us are here. So
Okay.
I could tell something was wrong. She was like, "I'm not seeing this."
I didn't get anybody.
So bear with Valerie. It might be where we've got the screen sharing settings a little bit off, but
Okay.
We can make it happen. We can make it happen. Before we dive into your website, we do have a another comment from World Via Chris. Excited for this one. He is here and he is watching. That's our Chris Lucretia, our trade sales and marketing manager. Love that he is tuning in. I feel like he should be at work, but you know,
He says,
he's
I am at
Mm.
work.
yeah,
It's in a different capacity.
yeah,
Yes.
he's like, I'm watching my boss on YouTube. I feel like that's acceptable. So yeah, I get it. I get it. So Valerie, before we go over to your website,
Mhm.
I love to ask this question. It helps Drea and I really be very focused on your on the feedback we're giving. How did you get started in travel?
Well, from a weed type, no. I've loved travel. I've been traveling ever since I was in high school. I got my first bug of just doing travel when I traveled overseas in high school. But as of late, I took my first cruise on Celebrity Cruises last year. And I was really scared to go on a cruise. First of all, I thought I was going to get seasick. Second of all, I had gotten seasick on a cruise before. And third, I was afraid about all the other things they tell you about being on a cruise. But when I once I went on there, I got the cruise traveling bug, and I've been taking off ever since. Um, and I really enjoyed the experience on Celebrity Reflection. I really enjoyed the Martini Bar. If anybody's been on Celebrity Reflection, the Martini Bar is the thing to do. And ever since then, I was like, I've been always planning our trips, always looking for resources, always doing these things. And I'm like, well, I mean, isn't that what a travel advisor does, kind of a thing? And so I decided to look more into it. And I started in December of last year. I really wanted to focus in on cruising in luxury spaces or in smaller spaces that my kids are grown. My kids are out of the house, so I don't want to be on floating amusement park. I wanted like a more relaxing, kind of like healing kind of setting. And so Celebrity did that for me, and some other cruise lines I've been looking at as well. And I just really want to be able to introduce that into the people that I know that only know about cruising from a certain angle. And I'm trying to introduce more of luxury cruise lines and what it's about, and the value you can get out of it and things like that. And so that's kind of a little bit about my story. Just started in December, but I'm really excited. I got a few people that have already booked on some cruises. I've been cruising myself, and my goal is to have a cruise every quarter. I'm looking to do Explorer soon. So I'm just really excited to be here and get you guys feedback and really help me so that I can make my website all that it can be.
That's fantastic. Some people get started and it takes a long time before they start to get their circle of influence engaged. So it sounds like you've had some good wins
Mhm.
in a short period of time, which definitely keeps the sales, full and keeps you moving, right?
Right, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, and I just need to continue that trend and wanting to kind of really expand and make sure that I'm marketing to the right people and getting the reach and continue it. I'm excited about it. So I know if I just get in front of some people and talk about it, it's almost a done deal. you know, because I really am excited about what I believe to be like the most valuable type of travel there is. Really is like to me for cruising. So
That's
yeah.
fantastic. And since you said were sailing on Celebrity, which ship did you
Mhm.
sail?
The first one I sailed on was Celebrity Reflection. Yes. Mhm.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes.
Celebrity is a
Yeah.
beautiful line, and it is definitely that gateway from the premium cruise lines onto luxury where you're going. So I love that's a brand that you're attracted to. So that's fantastic. Now, in terms of your website, so guys, if you want to go ahead and pop over to Valerie's website, you want to go to classyconnectionstravelcenter.com. So classyconnectionstravelcenter.com. Go ahead and we're going to pop over there in just a second. But just to ask you, Valerie, how long has this website been live?
Um, what is this? April? Probably about since end of January, beginning of February.
Okay, okay. So it
Yeah.
hasn't been around long. Do you
Yeah.
have any idea how many people have been visiting it so far?
No, and to be honest with you, I haven't looked at the Google Analytics yet. So.
That's okay. That's okay. Don't get bogged down in that. I like to
Yeah.
ask because some people are, oh, I've got numbers and I've got three people who have visited my site. So I just wanted to ask the question, right?
Yeah.
So no problem. All right. So Valerie, did the view change for you? Because if I'm going to go to your website, I want to make sure that you can see. Okay, good. So you can see all three of us. So in a
Yes.
minute, we're going to go. Okay, good. Yeah, guys, this is live. I want to call it television, but it's live streaming. We're live streaming, so anything can happen. Anything can also go wrong. I've had the lawn guy cut the power to my garage here, so that's a real public access moment when that happens. Anyway, all right, so let's pop over to your site, Valerie.
Okay.
Um, Here we go. Drea, I'm sorry. I know my picture is the only one in the little center there, but
It's okay.
we can definitely hear you. Okay, so here we are. We've got some beautiful video going, a little moment, a little movement happening on this homepage. Now,
Mhm.
Valerie, I wanted to ask you. I mean, we can definitely go from the top to the bottom. We can start sliding through pages, but what what's kind of on your list that you would like me and Drea to look at first? What could have the biggest impact for you?
Um, I guess I mean the homepage is one place to start for sure. And I'm also getting really bogged down in like group packagings and how I should do that, or blogs and how I should do that. Like just trying to kind of do extra marketing, and so I'm not sure like um, if what I'm doing is correct, or just kind of like getting some more insight into my group booking page, and how to like even navigate that. Between that and my blog page is where I'm kind of stuck. And even on the and so I think the first page is okay, but I don't, I'm be more than happy to get any insight that you can provide on any of the pages. In all honesty.
Okay. Well, I think we can definitely attack this. And I just scrolled through it a little bit while you were talking, so everybody could
Mhm.
see a little bit of what's going on. And I'm sure, Drea, I'm sure you've got some feedback.
Mhm.
But I want to ask everybody, hey, let's give Valerie some love and join her email list right now. Let's give her a bunch of
Yes.
followers. So sign up, and there we go. So I will get some of your email goodness. I love that. I
Awesome.
love that. Drea, do you want to start at the top?
Yeah, I could go ahead and take it over. I will say I really, really like the background video
Mhm.
on it.
Mhm.
I think one of the things that I am noticing is just is like very little things, and I know, we've mentioned it before, but I think it's always good to have it in mind. The transition between some of the spaces and other ones, it's a little
Okay.
hard to read with
Okay.
your the words in there. Sometimes it like transitions to white and white. It's a little hard on the readability
Okay.
of the
You're
page.
you're
And
talking
then
about on the video, right? You're talking
yes,
about
the
the
video
Mhm.
on
yeah.
the
Sorry.
Yes.
banner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
I noticed
And
that.
then I think the other thing that I would really love to see, and I got this idea from the last time, was that I think it could be really cool to have your logo a little bit more expanded, like horizontally. Joshua, I don't know if you remember when we were talking about that, because I feel like taking it out of the box and making it just a little longer rather than more square, I think gives it a little
Okay.
oomph, a better look.
Okay.
Yeah, so we catch this a lot, Valerie, and
Mhm.
that's where a brand will have a very square style logo. So,
Mhm.
that's instead of horizontal. So, when you think about Amazon.com, right? The word
Okay.
Amazon horizontal, it fits very neatly in that upper left corner of the site. Because
Okay.
yours is square here, it's I we can't really read the logo.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this isn't something about the logo necessarily. It's more about
Mm.
that this particular the way that this is shaped here
Okay.
does not work that well. So what we suggest a lot is in this instance just taking the text version of your logo, maybe keeping one of the stars that you have here,
Hmm.
and then just making it more of a horizontal logo
Okay.
and not necessarily have the planet behind there. So
Okay.
then it's filling up that upper left corner so you can clearly read Classy Connections Travel Center. Now,
Okay.
what I then love is you do have the logo further down, so
Hmm.
it's still there. It can stay intact, but right
Hmm.
here it just becomes so small that we can't see it. So
Okay.
good call, Drea. That's definitely something we've been flagging a lot. So Valerie, just so you know, you are not the
Mhm.
only one. This is a very common thing, right? And when you're looking at a social media avatar, you want that square logo because that fills the space and everybody can
Oh,
see it.
okay.
But on a website,
Okay.
if you look at the websites you probably frequent,
Hmm.
you probably will connect the dots that the most of the time it is a horizontal logo that and you can still do that with your more vertically enhanced logo. You just need to get rid of some of those elements to
Okay.
for this particular space. Um,
Okay.
and I would agree with Drea on the having the text over your video. I
Hmm.
do like having it there, but you almost need an overlay with a little bit of transparency so I can still see that there's stuff behind it.
Okay.
But that would allow the text to be more visible as the video is changing. That's the only challenge with video is
Hmm.
Yeah.
you love the movement, but then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, depending on where somebody's looking on the page or when somebody's looking on the page, can they read it? And if they're struggling, if they only read your hustle and they don't see reward or grind, you
Hmm.
lose this story that you're trying to tell.
Okay.
So definitely see that as an opportunity there. And then just as I'm scrolling,
Hmm.
I want you to have calls to action (CTAs) with every scroll essentially. So since I've got this here, I don't have anything like if I don't scroll, I don't have anything a button over the video or a button below the video to submit an inquiry or schedule time to talk to you. So
Okay.
definitely have that. And then as I scroll further, now I'm on this blue section that's telling your brand story. Give me
Hmm.
another button. Maybe it's a different thing. Maybe maybe the first one was about schedule time to talk, and then this one is about
Hmm.
submit. Uh, 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 Tell
An
me about your
inquiry.
trip. Yeah, so more the general inquiry. Um,
Okay.
Drea, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I would completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that, the more you add CTAs into your page, the more likely someone is to click it. So I definitely agree with that.
More great. Great. Loving
Awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I yeah, and I will say once we scroll down to that blue section, I really like the kind of like the division, right? Like we went from a banner all the way down to this is a different section, a different component. But if we
Hmm.
scroll a little bit more down after the sentence that says let's explore the world, there is a big space in there that kind of makes it
Hmm.
seem like the end of the page, if that makes sense. We know it's
Hmm.
not because we can see the bar
Hmm.
on the side, but it feels a little disconnected from your next section down.
Okay. So you
So
mean
I
like
think
just reducing the space in between? Because I was trying. Yeah, I've been trying to work on that too. Because I've designed a website myself actually. So
Good for
oh,
you.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would reduce this space, maybe make it a
Okay.
little more equal to the space you've got here. Now, if you're able to add a button here, then
Okay.
give the button and then give about the same amount of spacing. And what I would really love to see is even if you could make the background here the same gold yellow color, so like
Yeah.
there's like there's a bar, right? And then your
Okay.
logo, because right now your logo ends right at the ring here, whereas if it was
Um,
on a yellow background that matches it, then it would
Mm-hmm.
look like it's just there. I think that could be pretty cool. But you got to play
Okay.
with it since you're working on your website yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the ability
Mm-hmm.
to test it and say, "Oh, I like that on desktop. I don't like it on a tablet or on my phone." So feel
Mm-hmm.
free to play. But I would agree with that, Drea. Part of me loves the fact that when I'm scrolling, I end up in a world that's just about this story here.
Yeah.
So, because if you shorten it up, then all of a sudden I'm going to start to sneak into here. But then sometimes that makes somebody realize, oh, I want to scroll and see what's peeking right here, right?
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you see play with it, see what you like, and see what you see if it's working for you. Now, if your
Okay.
website just got started, or you published your website in February time, let's say, you're probably not seeing inquiries come from the website. Have you seen any inquiries come from your website yet?
No, I have not.
No. So, and that's
Okay.
okay. And I'm glad that your website is new that we can talk about that because I think people feel like the moment they publish, all of a sudden a
Mm-hmm.
million people have ability to visit your website, and that's not the
Yeah.
case. That is never the case. So I feel like sometimes people set some really un, high expectations that are not realistic, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
takes a while. About 6 weeks, I've heard. I personally, I've experienced more of a 6 months runway from the time you go live. So that's why I'm always. Andrea says the same thing. Just publish. Just publish. You can always fix the pages later. Just
Mm-hmm.
publish. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's so important to go live. But right now, people are not. There I wouldn't expect there to be a lot of inquiries from the site. So as right
Okay.
now you can continue to play, and right now you've got loads of opportunities to add additional content and CTAs here. So I think that's really awesome. All right, so I got to just say I love this. I love this. You know what? I Why are people so scared to be on their website? I don't know because right here, this right here, I'd actually suggest this bumping up to where that blue section is
Okay.
because without it, Andrea, I don't know if you disagree with me on this, but I feel like this right here, since your hero banner, the first image that we see on the website, the video, isn't you. It isn't that real connection to who the business owner is. Um,
Okay.
this right here validates it. Like this means that it is not a fake website. This is a real website, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're focusing on cruising, and guess what Valerie's doing, y'all? She is cruising.
Yes.
She's crazy.
And cruising. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I love this. Now, Valerie, I do have to ask this question.
Yeah.
Are you a multi-agent agency? Do you have other agents or is it just you?
Just me. So I should say about me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All
She
right.
knew where I
All
was
right.
going to go with that, Drea.
Yeah.
She knew.
No, no. I noticed that too. And I'm like, it's so, and you always see about us, about us, about us. And it's just kind of those. Yeah. But
Mhm.
definitely get it. Yeah.
Yeah, that right there, it just it's such a subtle thing that happens internally. You're just like,
Mhm.
oh, this is Valerie's business. So now she's the expert. It's not this company that I'm working with. So I
Oh,
always feel like
okay.
that's a big plus. Um,
Okay.
And
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to bring it back, Joshua, and just say if we do move that section above, I think there is something good about combining those two things because once you read the text on the blue section, it is pretty much about the experiences that she's creating. And she also does have an about little tab at the top. So, like in the menu, there's also an about section. So, I think combining it and making it just a little overview, a little smaller, could be better on your front page and your home page just because it can scroll a little quicker for people as well.
So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit more about that, Drea. What are you meaning by that? I'm not
Yeah,
following.
yeah.
Okay.
So I would probably say put the about us section on the blue like section that you have above it, right? Where it says like elevating
Uh-huh.
your journeys, refining luxury travel. I would say
Right.
about me. And then I would start and go into your story, right? So I'm Valerie, and then the one that you have
Okay.
at the bottom, whether you desire to travel alone on an experience. And
Hmm.
then or even you can get rid of that section completely and that little in the blue box that you have in there, whether you desire to travel alone on an expeditions experience, that section can be pretty much condensed into the one that you have above it. So,
Okay.
so it would go about me. You finish
Mm-hmm.
that paragraph right there with your next adventure unforgettable, and
Mm-hmm.
then you go into at classic connections. I curate exclusive travel experiences. So just play around with it. You
Okay.
can combine both of them and just make it one section.
Okay.
I feel like you can also go in more in depth in your about section that you have at the top.
Okay.
So this one would just give it a little bit more of like a quick, scroll through from the
Okay.
about side of things.
Okay.
Since I popped over while you guys were talking to the about page, I want to say I love the fact that we've got a different picture of you.
Hmm.
Because again, anything that they can do to connect to a human, that
Mm-hmm.
is 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 going to serve you well. In fact, I would. I'm not sure if this was going to go over well, but I have my spidey sense tells me that people care less about what you say on the page and more
Mm-hmm.
about seeing a real human that they would be interacting with. So wherever you can do this, even more photos of your travels, even if they're not perfect pictures, right?
Okay.
It shows that authentic, like if I call
Mm-hmm.
Classic Connections, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to speak to Valerie. I'm going to speak to the
Yes.
person whose work I'm seeing essentially these pictures. Now, don't get me wrong, the copy, the words that sell that are on your page, that
Mm-hmm.
Google likes, that's all the AI search agents they like.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
need all of that. But
Right.
I when I see that there's a real human being and I can schedule time with a real human being, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in. I am definitely
Cool.
in. And I was trying to
Yes.
swap out my picture, Drea. I wasn't trying to make it all about me, but as you kind of, if you watched, I was moving it around trying to make it work, and it didn't happen.
It's
Okay,
okay.
so let me go back to the home page here, and
Okay.
so we got so I agree with that. I agree with the combining, and I think this where you've got this picture here. I
Mm-hmm.
love this. I love that you're giving me lots of images. You're bringing the travel to life,
Mm-hmm.
because it is these are big sections, right? That I'm
Mm-hmm.
having to scroll to the next one. I would just remind you, try to get as many call to actions throughout. Every
Yes.
scroll, there should be a way that I can either subscribe to your email list, I could schedule time with you, I could submit an inquiry, or I could download a packing guide, or your tips to cruising, things like that. You
Okay.
just want to make sure that there's some kind of activity that somebody can do. And the other thing we were talking about, I want to say we talked about it last week, Drea, while you were not there. We talked about so many things while you weren't here. I'm just saying.
Hey,
No.
thank you so
Uh,
much.
Yeah.
um, but something that I
Okay.
think is overlooked is going live on Facebook with random stories. And travel marketeering last week, I was talking about use live video, even if nobody comes. But if you even talk about that, like subscribe to my Facebook page because I go live all the time to tell you about cruise adventures that you can take part in, things like that. That's another call to action that people
Okay.
could take advantage of. Plus, it says, hey, if I want to get a feel for how Valerie thinks and
Hmm.
how she puts things together, oh, now she does it on Facebook Live. Like that's cool. So even if nobody even joins you, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, if she's doing that, then she's not hiding. She's got stuff to say. So just finding different ways that people can interact with your page is extremely helpful. Um,
Great.
And it really will just show that passion that you have, Valerie. I know you're really passionate about cruises. I can see it in the way
Yeah.
you talk about them, and I can see it in your page. So I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe when you do get the chance to go on a cruise, pop a little quick video, hey guys, let me show you really quickly, do you want to make this happen? Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Be in touch.
I
Something
actually
like that
have.
could be really special. Oh, awesome.
I just don't know how to put them up. Like I've done an Oceania ship tour,
okay.
and so I did that live and some pictures, and
Yay.
I also just went on. Where did I go on? No, yes, no, Princess, Regal Princess, for my birthday this year, and I did a whole. thing with that too. So I did days, videos, pictures, and that's what I'm working on now is just how to put that content up as well. So yeah, I'm in front. I'm just trying just trying to get it out there,
That
for
makes
sure.
sense.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
use your blog post. So use
Okay,
your blog post for that, and
okay,
because then you don't have to be so precious about it. And when I say
okay.
precious, I got this word from a team member of ours. He was like, "Oh, I guess I'm treating it just too precious," and I'm like, "Oh, I've never used it that
I
way."
am.
But but with your website, your main pages of your website, you do tend to want to put best face forward. You want it
Okay.
to be a tight performance. I still like a site that looks like it is being built by Valerie. Like that that is to me that's magic, and not everybody can do that. So that automatically puts you at an advantage because
Mm-hmm.
you have that ability. However, the easiest place where and people will forgive, if pictures are not sized the same, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be so perfect. In the blog, you can put that content, and then I can, even if I'm scrolling and it looks like this is a placeholder for the
Right,
blog, right?
right. Yes.
And guys, Valerie did say that she published some things before we were going to go live, so she could get feedback on it. So that is a thing that she did. But in the blog, you've got that
Mhm.
that ability to create these little stories. Some of them can be true blogs. Some of them
Okay.
can be just a collection of photos. It could just be an embedded video. It could be
Okay.
just anything. Just make sure you've got the freedom, because if you're creating that content, which makes me
Hmm.
so excited that you're creating that content, uh, do it. Just get it out there because you want it to
Okay.
be out there in the world, not sitting in your phone, right?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that.
Uh,
Yeah, I just didn't. I have it. I'm like, what do I now? What do I do with it?
right,
Like,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay. Sorry, I wanted to get back to where I was. I do like the how you've positioned photos and copy. You've changed it up a little bit, so it's got each section has got a different look and feel, so it doesn't bore me. Especially people will.
Hmm.
I'm sure you've done it many times. You've been searching for something, and you just start scrolling, and you might not even be reading, but you need to absorb the photos, right? You need to, and
Hmm.
the fact that you've got it broken up in different places, I think that, or in different ways, I think that keeps it pretty interesting. And if you guys hear the Alexa alarm going off for some reason, there's an alarm going off in my house. I don't know what it's timing, but it's timing something, and it's just banging on. Drea, did you have anything more that you wanted to add to the homepage? I know we can spend a lot of time on the homepage, which is pretty important because the homepage is where so much business is happening. But do you have
Yeah.
any other feedback that you'd like to add to the homepage?
Um, I think for now, like what you mentioned before about playing around with the layout of the homepage, I
Hmm.
really like what you said about the dynamic pictures. It's true. It's not something, but it feels like you. And I know we just started this conversation, but I can already tell, right? Like you're really fun and passionate, and you're like doing different
Hmm.
things. And so I think
Yeah.
it's really cool that you're gonna try to experiment with the layout. See what
Hmm.
works well when someone is reading, like from top to bottom. Just think about like how you would read something, right? Mostly from left to right, from top to bottom. So you might want to
Okay.
keep your CTAs at the bottom or on the right side of a text block if you have it that way. So can't spend too much time on that, but I definitely do think that it'll be really great to see how you evolve your site as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
All right, so you wanted to talk about the blog. I know we just talked about the blog in
Hmm.
terms of your content
Hmm.
that you're getting, the site, the ship inspections and things like that. And I
Hmm.
love that you're doing. I love that you're collecting that content
Yes.
because that uh, uh, no matter like if you're just getting started in your business or you've been doing this for a while, those things I don't. I especially if you're in the industry. they're not
Mhm.
that exciting. It's like there's so many agents that are there. You're being moved sometimes like cattle. Sometimes
Yeah.
not. Right. So
Yes.
it's not
Yes.
that part isn't glamorous, but
Yeah.
what people perceive
Mm.
by you posting that content or you saying, "Hey, I'm boarding my flight. I'm headed down to Miami. I'm going to be doing this thing." Da, 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 da.
I
I,
did all that.
yeah, it just screams, I am travel. Please, you want to talk to me because
Okay.
I'm in it. So all of that is fantastic. But in terms of outside of that type of content, what are you a writer? Are you somebody that likes to write, or what? Tell me about that.
I do. Sometimes I get like everybody else writer's block. But yeah, I tend to be a writer. But I don't know if I have the time to write as much as I'd like to. And sometimes I feel like y'all are giving me these things, and I was going to do a Facebook live video. I feel like it'd be quicker if I just do a video versus me writing a lot. And so because I do have a plan to eventually upload content on the YouTube as well. I already have the YouTube channel set up, so
Right.
I just haven't put anything on there yet. But that's my goal, is to kind of be more like that. As far as the written content, I can do that, but I think I prefer to do more video content. But yeah, I do like to write. So,
I'm going to give you a TM on my own. I'm going to just be TM for travel marketeering because I firmly believe that. I mean, yes, the writing the content that there's space for that, but too many people are afraid to do the videos or to be in the
oh,
photos. So if so many people are scared of it and you're not, guess
mm,
what? There you go. There's something
okay,
that makes you unique from everyone else. Now,
okay.
what I would say, you're in a very different space than most people because again, people are scared to go live and or record video, whatever it is. So you're in a different place now. You want all that written content because that does help search engines increase your discoverability. So you want that. But we do know that video content is how people are connecting with brands. So the fact that you're doing that is brilliant. So what I would say is look at AI tools that will watch the video and do a transcript of what you've done. So what I would do with that in the transcript, I'm sorry, when I go live, I'm like, I'm like, oh, squirrel, I got
Yes.
distracted, right? I'm just like, oh, hey, honey, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's a little, it's not great, right? But there'll be nuggets. There'll be some nuggets, right? So if you take that transcription and then you put it in to an AI tool and say, hey, write a blog post based on this transcription,
Oh wow.
chances are you're going to get something that's going to get down to those nuggets and frame it up in a good way. And since you are a writer, then you
Mhm.
can just finesse it a little bit. But I have to say, some of the outputs that I've been getting, they write better than I do for sure. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, let me mess with an M dash and my spacing around an M dash, and that's about it that I do for personalizing. But that way, you did the hard part. You created the video, but then you
Mhm.
are also getting the advantage of that the text that's going to live on these pages on your blog, and that's creating a beautiful experience for your users that are coming to your website. If you put the video, embed the video, and have the blog post, then they've got
Mm.
ways to interact with this content that will suit them. And you again, you're going to stand out because so many people are not creating the video content. So keep on doing that, right, Drea?
Yeah, I think writing, I'm a communications major, so I've always been a big fan of writing. My dad used to be a
Yeah.
journalist, so, I kind of have that in
Yes.
me, started doing poetry. I have to be honest, it's great, but sometimes it's really hard to hear the person who's writing unless
Mm,
you do that like professionally and consistently, right? So if you're a writer and you're writing a book, people already know who you are, they know what to expect from your tone. So I think having the video show your personality is a much better route People are
Mhm.
quicker, they want to see things. What is it? A picture speaks a thousand words. I think I said that completely wrong.
No,
But
you
that
got
is what we're going with.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do think so. And all the pictures that you've taken, just combining them, putting them in a quick blog and saying, hey, this is what happened at my time here. Here's what you can
Oh,
expect. Are you interested in going on a cruise like this? Let me tell you, let me
um,
show you, right, what it can
okay.
be. And using AI tools is very, very helpful with that as
Yeah.
well. And if you
Okay.
ever feel like maybe you're stuck and you're trying to write, maybe you can even
Mhm.
input, I want to talk about this, and they'll give you an overview, and then you can just keep refining and adding, changing, right? But it'll help you with that. Ask for some ideas. What do I want to
Okay.
talk about? It's all really, really accessible now for that same purpose. So
Okay.
and
Great.
Valerie,
Okay.
I was going to say too that you've got the when you've been on the ships, whether you've been traveling or ship inspection, so you've got that content, but then there's nothing preventing you from going live or just recording yourself
Mhm.
talking about different things that you like. I mean, and not knowing what you like when you're on a ship, but
Mhm.
maybe you are a food person. So
Mhm.
something
Yes.
that non-cruisers, she said yes. So non-cruisers don't, as if they've never been on a cruise, they don't understand because back in the day we were told that you always had to sit with strangers when you were on a cruise, and some people don't like that, right? So while that's not something that that's not something you think about, some of the new to cruising, you need to tell them that, like, this
Okay.
isn't like it was back on the Love Boat. This is not where you're
Yeah.
assigned seating, right? And
Okay.
the types of food, like you don't have to have sit down meals. You can get room service. Depending on the cruise line, you can have the ship find you wherever you are on the ship, and it just brings you the food. So there's stories that you can tell just about food, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with a destination or a cruise line. You could be the expert in cruising and using video content, sitting in your house before you're going to go outside and enjoy the day, right? You could be like, bam,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
shoot something, and that could turn into a blog, or that can just turn into social media content. But
Mhm.
I love the fact that you are willing to create the video content, and when you look at your website and you
Mhm.
start using video thumbnails instead of just still photos, that is
Mhm.
going to stand out. That's going to stand out, and people are going to be like, "Wait a minute, is she like a media maven? Is she like Oprah? Why is there so much video? Wow, I can get
Yeah.
to know Valerie before I even call her to make an
yeah,
inquiry." Now, I popped over while we were talking. I want to go here for a second because I went to the contact page, okay?
Okay.
And I love designs. I like these little design elements that you have. But if I'm going to hit contact, I'm in a certain place. You hit me in a certain way. I'm ready to talk, right?
Okay.
And you are making me scroll a little bit before
Yes.
I
I
can
see
do
you.
that. So I love the
Okay.
fact that you've got the imagery. I like the fact that you've got the stories here. But on these call to actions, like
Mhm.
contact is one of them. We need to get down to
Mhm.
business. Don't make it hard for me, because think about on a mobile device, I'm having to really scroll to get through all this content where I'm sure you've been on a website where it takes forever to load, or I'm trying to find the form.
Yeah.
Make sure the contact form and the inquiry forms are there and ready to go. And if you want to link out to additional information or pages on the website, you can do that below the form that you've created. I just happened to see this while I was clicking around. I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this. When we've got a page that's about some business, we need to get down to it.
Get to business. Okay. Okay.
We do.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
okay, so one of the things you mentioned that you wanted us to talk about was the group trips. So tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about this.
Okay. So I'm trying to do some like affinity groups or speculative groups kinds of things. And so I've gotten some of them kind of set up. And as you can see, I got some with some pictures and some information. I'm trying to determine if this format is okay for that, if there's a different format I should be using. Should I be using more pictures? Um, And I already got it. I need some more call to actions. It's in my head. So,
No need to say it
but I got
anymore,
it down
right?
here on this one. But CTAs, I'm getting that part. But I'm just wanting some like feedback on it, and just like, is there something different I could do, or something that you would recommend? Yeah.
Well, no one in the history of website throwdowns has even presented this to me, and so you have tickled me beyond belief because Drea and I have been talking about essentially group space sailings and promotion of it a lot. So the fact that we get to talk to you about it is fantastic. Now,
Great.
I'm going to I'm going to give you something, and I hope I'm not going
Okay.
to blow up your world here. But what
Uh-huh.
you know as these group sailings, I don't know that you need to tell. I don't think that that's the banner that you need to put these under.
Okay.
Instead, these are these special opportunities, right? These are sometimes they're special pricing, sometimes they have special amenities, and sometimes it is that that affinity group, right? I'm a part of a group, and I know an advisor who she is a part of a pirate community, and they do
Oh, wow.
pirate sailings, right? So there's something I want to get attached to, but really a lot of what I'm seeing here are these special opportunities that people can travel on. So how I would
Mhm.
suggest you do it, it's different from if you're saying, "Hey, I will help you with your group sailing," right? Like if you want to do a family reunion,
Okay.
that's when I'm going to talk about my group sailings. Here, it's really about you featuring these particular opportunities. So I would look at these more as I don't want to call them promotions, but I want them to have that kind of a featured
Mhm.
spot on your site. And so they can be I mean you could call them promotions because they essentially they're things that you're promoting and they're unique opportunities. It's not like, oh, go to San Juan. I that's a destination that I feature. It's go on this Sail into Love couples retreat, Miami to San Juan, right? So
Mhm.
so for this, I would pepper these throughout your site, and it's like it's a way for you to have an impact area throughout the site. Have an area where they can all live. Like here's some fantastic opportunities to travel the world or cruise the world in your case, right?
Okay.
So talk about that. But the group sailing piece might throw my brain off a little bit. Like, do I have to
Okay.
travel in a group? Am I going to be hanging out with strangers? You know, these are some things that are going through people's minds. Now, for you, you know what that is. You know that there's a benefit to this group opportunity that you have. But I
Mhm.
would feature it as you're really what you're doing here is you're giving your audience a very specific thing to pay attention to. Like this is what you're going to contact me about versus some of the other open inquiries where you're saying, oh, you know what, I want to go to I want to sail the English Channel. I don't know why I picked that. I
Mhm.
just the English Channel, right? So when do you want to go? I don't know. You tell me, how much do you want to spend? I don't know, right? With the group with these opportunities, these special promotions, these features, you're able to give a price. Now all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm qualifying myself before I talk to you. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
this costs this. I can do this. Or I need more information about this. Where is it going to go? What are the special amenities that are included here? So
Okay.
that's what I would suggest here.
Okay.
Dre, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that because before we really got into looking at each of them individually, I also did think that it was like a group trip planning that we were doing. And at that point, I was gonna say, hey, for someone
Okay.
who doesn't really know, or for someone who is newer to groups, right? Like maybe put a little snippet at the top of each column. But no, I completely get it now. So yeah, I do agree. I think in terms of the layout, like you were asking, I think
Mhm.
if you were to distribute this through your site, I think it would make more sense. If you did want to keep it more than one tab, maybe you just want to have like a promotions tab for you for the people that come to your website. I would say
Okay.
maybe shorten the text a little bit because once you go in there, you'll go and like learn all about it.
Mhm.
So you'll give a lot more detail in here for sure. So
Mhm.
maybe just keeping it a little shorter so that it's a little quicker to go down to the next uh, step that you have below that.
Okay. So you mean like the description I have kind of, and that's what I was wondering too. It
Yes.
seems like it's a lot. And so, but I could just give them a little blurb and, for more amenities, check here or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Absolutely. You can
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and you can do the same thing, right? Maybe you're struggling to see how do I even make this all flow. You can absolutely use the tool as well and just be like, hey, can you shorten this for me and make it concise and
there you go.
informative? And then
Yeah.
boom, you have like a little
Okay.
description in each of them, and then they can click, get more details. And I think that's a good way to go about it as well, because it's not too overwhelming with the text, but I
I mean,
really like the layout of the three. I think it looks really clean.
mm,
Yeah, Valerie, I'm going to echo that. I think that that you probably could just get away with these headlines that you've
mhm.
got here,
Great.
and
Right.
then keep your buttons. And I probably would just make the buttons like learn more. So
Yeah.
it's consistent because you're going to have them fluctuate in size if you use uh, different
Hmm.
labels on them. But
Right.
if you did that where consistently you were using these three lines
Mhm.
for the headline and then the button below, then you could also get the next three up there. So when I scroll, I could see six of them. Or
Yes.
if you had 12 of them, I could see that I could start to scroll and see more, but it would get more, you'd have more impact with that. And I'd also say go ahead and get that started. Like get that up here. So
Mhm.
right now when I land on group trips, I end up here, which is a beautiful picture, but I
Yeah.
would get the business up here. And I'd also give a little bit of a statement about what this is that I'm looking at.
Hmm.
So here are some special opportunities that I found just for my clients. And within them, there's all different types of opportunities. Click on the one that you like. And I'm happy to talk about any of them, right? Like you can add that personal voice there. And then if you do want to do group sailings for your clients, then have another section for groups, like how I can work with you and your group to give you an
Yeah.
amazing cruise experience. So just use, and that's something interesting I've discovered in the travel industry. I've only been in it for 8 years, but some of our internal industry language we start to try to educate our customers on, and it's really confusing. So we just need to keep it separated, right? And make it, at the end of the day, you've got some great opportunities on some really cool cruise lines. And
Mm.
for many of them, they could not find this on their own. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. That's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so here's our specialties. I have never seen someone more excited about orange juice ever. I know, it's a mimosa. I know, I know.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
See,
That's me.
I love the real people. This is, you know what? I almost, I, this, because
Replace
again,
the orange picture.
what'd you say? But no, that, hey, if someone else found that cute, then that's good. That's entertainment. But I was gonna say, since you do have photos like this,
Hmm.
get those up at the very, very top. Like have it above
Okay.
our specialties, right? Because again,
Okay.
that's uniquely you. Nobody else has that. Where this orange juice excitement might be on other
Mhm.
people's websites. I don't know, right? So,
Okay.
infuse yourself all over the place because at the end of the day, that's what that your future clients are buying is what it's like to work with you. Um,
Okay.
I love this. And I would also look at like you've got a lot of copy here on the text on the page here. I would break that up a
Okay.
little bit. It's okay to have a
Okay.
one sentence paragraph. It really is. right? But
Okay.
because if you break it up a little bit, I'm more likely to read it. Dre, I think you said that on one of our throwdowns. You were like, "Ooh, it's a lot of text. I might not read this," right? But if you saw it broken up, you're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
easy to digest," and then you're able to get the story across. So I'm not saying cut
Yep.
the story. I'm just saying break it up a little bit so it's easier for me to read.
Yep. Putting still maybe CTA somewhere in there in
Yeah.
between, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about more about the specialties. And I think that I
Hmm.
really like the block of text right next to the picture because that is such a unique way of showing that. I
Hmm.
think in some of them just fixing a little bit the layout to make sure
Hmm.
that they are like down with the picture, right?
Right.
Just to make sure that there is a clear distinction, like in that one, for example, where it goes just a little bit
Hmm.
more down the white text box right next to the
Right.
picture so that they can tell clearly what it is that you're
Hmm.
mentioning on each of those.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it gives me this magazine vibe, right? With it being,
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
zigzaggy. But if I'm watching somebody in a with they're doing a meditation there with their hands, and then I see culinary classes overlapping it. They're little things, but
Yeah.
all in
Yeah.
all, I have to say, you've got a beautiful website, and I think you've done a
Yes.
great job of fusing your personal photos with stock images. So it
Hmm.
feels authentic and it feels fun. And it's interesting because you said that you want it's luxury cruises that you're
Hmm.
focused on,
Hmm.
and I'm getting that vibe. And I can't tell you how many people will say, I want to be more luxury. I'm going to focus on luxury. And you go to their website and it's not saying luxury at all. But what you've done successfully, in my opinion, you've made luxury accessible to me. So
Yes.
there's probably another level of luxury that we haven't even touched yet that you
Yeah.
now can take me on a journey. Whereas if you came in with that ultra luxe experience, you might
Hmm.
put me off. But you actually
Hmm.
segued me in very nicely. That then once I do a couple of trips with you, then now I'm ready for the next level. So
Hmm.
good job there, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. It's
Oh my
amazing.
goodness. Well, wow, an hour went by fast.
Yes.
It really did.
It really
Yes.
did. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
I had my little issues with my screens, but dang, we did some good work here. Um,
Yes.
Valerie, thank you for sharing your website and letting us in. I hope you found it helpful.
Oh, most definitely. Thank you for even choosing me and allowing me to be in this space. I really appreciate all of the juicy tidbits and the feedback and the yeah, the great ideas. I've been writing them down, and I'm even super duper excited to go in there and get started doing my blog. Now I'm a little more excited to do the blog because I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
now
I
you're fired up. You're ready to go.
like,
Yes.
that's what I was like. I don't want to have to write all this stuff now. I didn't think about putting videos or my pictures up. That didn't even enter my mind to do that. So I'm like, okay, now I know what to do with all this stuff sitting on my phone. So I'm super duper excited. So yeah, thank you.
I love
Yes,
it.
this
I
has
love
been
it.
fun.
Well, thank you. And you know what? Since you just got started with it, please come back in a year. Like let's now dig into where
Yes.
you are, and hear,
Right.
how is your website converting? Like what's going on? Let's go deeper. But you've
Okay.
got a good baseline to work with, and I'm so proud of you for tackling it yourself and being so
Yes.
open to enhancing it. So kudos to you, and good luck to you for sure. Good luck.
Thank
And
you. I appreciate it. Thank
Andrea, it's so nice to have you back.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad that you're back from the Las Vegas Travel Agent Forum. So very glad that
Yeah.
you're back. And
you.
Drea, I know we're going on hiatus a little bit because I'm traveling,
Mhm.
but
Now it's your
uh,
turn.
we're coming back on Thursdays, right? Thursdays at 3:30.
We're
Oh,
coming
okay.
back on Tuesdays at 4.
Fantastic. Students shall see where I'm going to be. So Tuesdays at 4. Thank you, Drea. That's right. I remember it's not on Thursday. Sorry. Stuff gets in my head and it stays with me. So
Yeah,
guys,
that's
if
right.
you want to join live, we're going to be live Tuesdays at 4 Eastern time. on our YouTube channel, so you can find um, the upcoming shows. You can find the recordings of these website throwdowns and loads of other content there. Just go to YouTube and search World Via Travel Network. You can find our channel there. We hope you love this type of content. We hope you get something out of it. If you want to be like Valerie and participate in a website throwdown, go to World Via Pro. It's for World Via Travel Network members only. Sorry, I need to clarify that. So go over to World Via Pro and submit your website, and I know we'll have time coming up to do this. But it was a good time. Thanks again to Valerie. Thank you, Drea, and thank you guys for tuning in live or watching it on demand. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye, guys.
Run.
Bye.
Bye.